supporting steps to use AI to do this scraping autonomously. On these sessions, I would also take 3 sessions, and in these 3 sessions, we shall discuss about how can we build a warehouse and search from those scripted data as a knowledge base and take decisions from them. So as it will be consecutive 3 sessions, this is the very beginning of it. So let's start. So these are the 3 steps that we are going to take throughout all 3 sessions. Today we shall talk about some of the parts about scraping as usual. And for scraping today, we shall use basically PyPuppeteer. And after the collecting the scraping data, we shall build up our own knowledge base. In the following sessions, we shall elaborately discuss about it. And after the knowledge base is built up, then we shall move on to start searching on our collected data. And to efficiently search those data, we shall actually build up a warehouse. And from that warehouse, we shall actually use the Elasticsearch to search them at lightning fast speed. That's it. So this is the overall summary of my session. Let's start. So to scrape things up, we shall actually simplify things. We shall first target only the tags. We are assuming that on every site, there will be a list of things. First of all, we shall target the titles. Then we shall target the descriptions. And at the very last, we shall target the TD or the table tags to get the structured data. So what we are assuming is that whenever we have a title and a paragraph, those data are not actually structured data. Those are semi-structured data. So from those data, first we shall just scrap out those things, and then later on we shall structure them out. That is the plan. Uh, let's have a quick dive onto that. For today, we shall be targeting indeed this site, and we shall just search data science, and we shall try to grab these sections. And later on, we shall just structure out these things. That's it. Visiting to these pages detail won't be in today's scope, but later sessions, we shall definitely describe how can we grab the details and proceed accordingly. But let's just target these sections only for today. So I have a very minimum PyPuppeteer code here, and by using this, we shall start our session. So uh, first, we are going to target the titles only, and to get the titles, we shall just target the H tags, all the H tags, H1 to H5, all of them. And how can we target all the H tags? Let's just have a quick demo. Before even running the PyPuppeteer, we can just use the browser console to get the elements. So I just want to grab these titles. Let's first just try all the titles, all the H1 to H5. Let's see what we get. As you can see, we can get all the titles from this page. Here we can see all the titles are actually listed. but among them, only the H2 titles are mostly helpful for us. So we shall mostly target the H2 ones, as we can see. After getting the title, we actually traverse upward to get the parent, and uh, to rooting out, we shall just try to grab this section, the whole parent section, so that other titles are not included in those sections. That's it. So that we can grab this particular section. And this is a today's target. Okay. So let's try it out. So far what we have done is just actually targeting the titles. So let's just take the titles with PyPyPeter. Here the bare minimum code for PyPyPeter is here, and what it does is it actually grabs the title for us, but let's see how it actually does it. So at the very beginning, we are just running the browser and going to indeed.com and waiting for the page to load. After the page is being loaded, we just taking a screenshot. We can actually omit it. It's not needed. But later on, if the page has loaded properly, then we are actually querying, selecting the text area, the search area, the entry box that we are calling here. And on the entry box, we are searching our query term. Our query was data science for today. So it's querying it out. And again, to submit the query, we have to also grab the search button. So this is the class that was used to identify the search button there. We actually selected it and just selected the variable so that we can click it out later on. We have clicked it and wait for it to load the whole page. And after we are done, we are just again running the same query from here. So we are getting all the titles from that page, and after we get the titles, it will just print it here. That's it. So let's try it out. So it has actually grabbed all the text, and this is the text that we are been expecting. And these are all the titles, data science jobs. Okay. See the next one. Next one is empty. Uh, this is how we are getting actually all the text. Let's return back to the browser. So now we have a clear idea of what we are going to do. Just we are grabbing the titles, that's it. And now we have all the titles. Let's have a dummy one. Let's take this 5 one. And the thing is that we wanted to grab this thing only, so that we can identify the regions where the job titles are there, so that we can later on we can actually grab the other relevant things. The structure is pretty much the same for all the job titles. So we just try to target this region. How can we do that? And this is actually generic for all the sites. What can we do is okay. We know we have selected this one, particularly this one. Let's be just sure about it. One moment. So we have just selected this one, right? And uh, in this tag, there is just an anchor tag and nothing more. So these things are actually on its parent node. So we shall just traverse upward to find the right parent which actually holds the whole thing. For that, what we do is pretty simple. Just we write down the parent node. That's it. And we shall just add the parent nodes until we get the count to just 1 parent node. I have actually written the query. This is a pretty long query. No, not this one. So you can see if I go too far, like this one, then what is happening here is it is actually selecting all the elements. That is not expected actually. So you see, it is actually grabbing the whole list. But I just want to grab that part only. I can work with this one as well, but I just want to grab this part only. So what I shall do is just take this. That's it. I will have the specific list. As you can see, now I have successfully selected the region that I have been looking for. So from here, actually, I have structured data. I have the title, uh, uh, the company, the rating, stuff like that, and more information as well. And also the description link. From here, I can also get the description link. But I don't know what is what, but I know the structure of the data. So at the end of the scraping, I will have something like this. Show it to you. Title text that I would be able to identify. Then there will be text field 1, text field 2, and so on actually. And also I would have the link, detail link. So this is how I shall get all the information in a structured way. A human intervention would be needed to just name these tags. If we just properly name these tags, we would have properly structured data, and we can store these things in our DB and analyze the data later on. So this was the main portion of my presentation today, but there are some other parts that I would like to show so that I can actually project the plan, what we are going to get from the whole series, from all the 3 sessions. Let's go back to the presentation then. Today we basically saw how we can grab the H tag and also the P tags. By P tags, I basically meant the description tags, but not necessarily everything is written in P tags. In this way, actually, we get the hierarchical structure as tree, and in our JSON format, we can just map them out one to one, and later on just name the tag names. That's it. Okay. About the table data, I haven't showed anything about the table data. Hopefully, on the next presentation, it will be showed as there. But table data is already structured data. So there isn't much to process there actually. And about the header, uh, basically this was the semi-structured data, and we are actually structuring it out to reach to a table. Whenever we have a tabular data, we can actually make a sense of that data and proceed accordingly. That's it. That is the whole idea or plan in here. So that we from all sorts of data, we can actually map them out to a particular tables with specific property names, and from those properties we can actually do our day-to-day work. That's it. So from our next session, we shall see actually finding the search pages. How can we actually uh, autonomously find the search page? Today, what I have done is the search page wasn't found autonomously. It was actually uh, fixed one. It was actually a fixed search page, and the button activities were pretty much fixed, but it can also be automated. On the next session, I shall show you how can we actually find the search page and search from there autonomously, so that we are not bound to do our searches to a single page. We can do search autonomous searches in all the sites, like it can be Google, it can be Indeed, it can be Yahoo, or anything else. And next, there is also an issue that is finding the next page. As you can see, finding the next page is also a bit challenging task. Here you see in the Indeed, the next button is like this one. Some of the pages have the infinite scrolling. On those sites, the next button finding is also a challenging task. So next button finding is also a challenging task in itself. So we shall discuss about these two problems on the next session as well. But let's proceed to the overall planning, what we are going to get from here. So after when we are done with the scrapping process, there would be these steps that we have to work on. Whenever we would be done with the scraping, there will be unstructured data. We have to map those data to some defined fields. Some of the fields would be undefined, just like as I mentioned. The data would be structured, but these fields wouldn't be defined. We have to name it properly, like this can be the description, and this can be the rating, but we have to name it once manually. After we do it once manually, it would be done for the whole scraping structure from a particular site, as the data is coming as like the same structure. Okay. So then we shall actually process these data according to our business. These are the pre-processing steps, and when we have a complete structured data and we are confident about it, we can actually move them to our warehousing, so that we can actually better query from those data. And as we are actually building up an analytical DB, so basically we will be building an OLAP. So our structured data would be somewhat aggregated, and there would be some facts and dimension tables, so that we can explore the data with more efficiency. There would be some analytics that we shall see later on, and at this step, to build up the knowledge base, we shall use some services, and there will be some NLP processing, and there will be some paragraphs, and those paragraphs would be simplified. And to simplify those paragraph, we shall use uh, some stemming and post tagging, and Again, after these steps, we shall get from paragraphs, we shall get a tabular data. Our ultimate goal is to just map our paragraphs or unstructured data to tabular data. That's it. In those steps, we shall eventually just repeat those processes again and again. And at the very last, when the database will be prepared, we shall just connect our database to either an analytical service. It can be a Power BI tool to explore the data, what is being presented. And we also shall connect with Elasticsearch in these sessions particularly, so that we can search out our data very efficiently and quickly. So these will be the things that we are going to show soon enough. So that was all from my side.
Thank you, Rifat. There are a few questions. Can I
Sure,
repeat
sure,
to you?
sure, sure.
One question is that can you please tell us a use case where data scraping is required?
Use case like I was actually presenting a use case of my own need. Like we have to search for jobs. Like we have to actually stay up to date with the job requirements, and over the time the job requirement changes. So that over months or year period of time, if we wanted to know the requirements of data scientist skill sets, we can actually search out all these job posts and get their required skill sets. From there, we can actually get pretty much up to date with skill set or normal skill set, and actually can update ourselves pretty easily. But there are plenty of other use cases whenever we have to do bulk tasks like if you want to in a particular case like clinical trial study or medical professionals, HCP, healthcare professionals. So if you want to see their public progressions, we can actually scrape out their public research papers. Like let me show it one side. PubMed is one such a kind. So these publications are publicly available, and all the contributors are actually jointly mentioned here, so that you can actually map them out, which publisher is working with whom and who are the influencers. If you can actually mention these influencers for the clinical trials, these actually can help the pharmaceutical guys to target their marketing. If they can convince the influencers, they can eventually do more marketing with less effort. This can be a practical use case.
Uh, Thank you very much. Second question is data scraping is used for taking the information from web page and plain text to a usable format, usable meaningful structure. This
Yes.
question is pretty, yeah. Maybe he
Yes.
wants to ask you that the that data meaningful. Say you have shown that the skill set. So in various job site, skill set are skill set are searched and aggregated and kept into a storage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Third question is interesting. He want to know that in a search engine, data scraping is required.
Yes, actually, yes. In a search engine, data scraping is required, and
I think
without
it's a use case for data scraping, then.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Definitely.
Without data scraping, Google or Microsoft can't help you or cannot answer any of your queries. So they periodically actually do your site's scraping periodically, so that you can actually search your specific informations from them. They just aggregate the informations there. That's it.
Fourth question was that is there no utility which can work data scraping?
Autonomous tools, you meant? I guess so. Yes, there are many autonomous tools like UiPath can be one of them. There are some other tools that is Blue Prism. From using those tools, you will be able to do scraping without even writing a single line of code. They have UI features that will guide you to do this scraping autonomously. But the problem or the catch is that for every site or for your every business, you have to write down or plan out your own scraping and do that work manually almost every time. But
Actually,
once
the
you,
scraping process is configurable, right, there,
yes,
and user have to configure it
yes, the user
right
have to configure it every time. That is the issue.
every time in every scenario.
Yes, in every scenario.
Fourth question was the how can I where to store the scraping data?
Okay, the initial scraping data is huge. It's a huge number of data. You can store it into blob storage. I prefer it there. And after processing it, I actually put it in a structured storage, or it can be MS SQL, it can be Postgres, somewhere like that. But initially, I store it to S3 or any kind of a blob storage.
Lastly, I have a question that if is there any option in Azure Synapse to say we are storing it in the blob storage? So now Microsoft has introduced Azure Synapse.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
an analytical studio. Is there any feature or pipeline so that data scraping will be happen automatically from source to?
Data scraping, we can actually try out Azure Data Factory. From Data Factory, we can actually aggregate data and process them in many ways. Actually, Data Factory can help you to do our ETL process autonomously, mostly. And after that, we have actually stored our data. We can actually structure them out in Cosmos DB, and Synapse has a
Okay.
built-in connection for Cosmos DB. I think when our data is processed into Cosmos DB and we are connected with Synapse, we have immense possibilities.
So as the as the Synapse has the built-in data factory feature, no need to additionally use it. So we can use Azure Synapse to data scraping and store it into the data lake, right?
Sure, definitely.
Thank you very much, Rifat.
Thank you.
Hopefully in next month we will arrange another session on data scraping. It's a interesting feature, and data science is the future, and data is the most valuable thing nowadays. And thank you very much, Rifat. We are just going to shut down our today's event, and we are very much thankful for attending the session. And we are going to arrange another event on next August 3rd Saturday. Thank you very much till today.
Thank
Allah
you
Hafiz.
all.
Thank you.